What up, family? It's your host, Tautua of Tautua Talk, and this next episode wasn't even planned to be a podcast. It started off as a Zoom call between two brothers on the same mission to serve, to lead, and to build something bigger than ourselves. Harrison is the founder of GRND. It's a brand built around removing the I and showing up with purpose. What started off as a conversation turned into something too good not to share. We talked about the pressure that comes with purpose, the battle between smart versus strong leadership, imposter syndrome, culture, legacy, and what it really means to lead when nobody's clapping. Whether you're in the gym, on shift, or just driving home reflecting on your own mission, this one's for you. Let's get into it. Tautua Talk with Harrison of GRND. Much love. Getting into business, I feel like new levels bring new devils. No matter what, you gotta pray for a hard day. I'm doing the right thing. It's supposed to be difficult.
Right. Like I asked for this. I manifested it. I prayed for it. I worked for it. When it comes, we're like, oh shit, this sucks. What am I supposed to do? You're supposed to continue to grind and go further and solve those complex problems, man, because it's what makes you better.
I can't complain that I have a full plate when I was praying to eat.
Exactly. There's a term in the Ranger Regiment. It's like you're either a smart Ranger or a strong Ranger. The smart Ranger knows how to solve problems quickly, decisively. The strong Ranger is going to just bust ass and get it done. I've been a strong Ranger my entire life, just grinding through every experience. But now with business, I have to really slow down. I think I'm smart. Like I'm finishing a doctorate. It's always been strength. It's always been grunt. For a long time, I was kind of insecure. I had this imposter syndrome around my intelligence. I'm a kid from South Louisiana. We're like 52 out of 50 in education. But I think throughout my journey, I've realized that if I'm going to acquire intelligence, I have to do the reading. I have to seek out the education. That's what brought me to the doctorate program, physical therapy. I love this space. This is the space I want to operate and provide value in. Let's go get the higher education. I ended up going to some private school in the Seattle area, and I'm the only black guy there, the only person of color, the only person from the South. I got
man, what did I do?
I'm like, what's going on? Fresh out of the Ranger Regiment, man. And I got classmates that graduated from Yale. And I'm like, hey, don't talk to me because you're going to assault my intelligence immediately. But it's part of the journey, man.
And it sounds like you're very well spoken. You are intelligent. Imposter syndrome is probably just another sign that you're doing the right things. Because if it was easy, it's too quiet and it's like, this is too easy. Like something's about to pop off.
Yeah, man. I graduate in a month. You know, after
really?
3 years of education, I graduate in a month. Just thankful that I grinded through the process because it was really tough.
Then I'm gonna have to call you Doc from now on.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to figure out what it looks like. You became a little acquainted with the brand just through social media. Yeah. I've got some decisions to make because on one hand, I'm going to be a doctor of physical therapy, which is a great career. I'm helping people in a very intimate way. On the other hand, it's like I'm growing a brand, a business, and a community. I've got to figure out what's my bandwidth for energy. How can I grow my clinical practice and my expertise and knowledge, but also grow a brand? When do I integrate those two? I have no idea, but I'm having fun with it. And I think it'll sort itself out with passion.
I think you're on to something good here. I like the page and stuff. So tell me what you were thinking. You're going to be graduating here in a month, and this is your brand's phenomenal. This is something that I align with. I didn't serve in the military, just work as a first responder now. And of course, half those guys and girls are either veterans or do the weekend warrior thing. I do a ton with these guys, having family members, and everybody knows a vet and is sympathetic to the plight, especially some of the talking points that you have. I really like your mission and values. I'm a mental health advocate myself, which led me to fitness in this space. We were chatting back and forth in the chat, but definitely an opportunity to talk and see what you're thinking and see if there's a ways we can align or collaborate or whatever you had in mind. I'm open for discussion.
I'll kind of tell you the brand story. It goes back a couple years. It always makes me feel warm inside because at the time I was just some young Ranger platoon leader and I didn't know what the future lied for me, but I knew I had a passion for service and I had a passion for doing the shit. Whatever it was, I was going to do the shit, you know? And as a kid, I was an athlete. I went and played college ball. And then I remember in college, I was like, man, this is cool, but it's not that cool. I just lost this drive for sports. Pretty early in my college career, I remember one of my mentors, he was a senior. We both played linebacker. I was his protege. We were the same build, same speed and skill set. And he was just grooming me. He's like, dude, you're going to be the man. All conference in tackles, top 10 linebackers in the country, goes into the draft that year, gets picked up by the Bears, Chicago Bears, and then gets cut before preseason starts. And at that time, I'm playing college ball, but I'm also an Army ROTC. So I'm in school to be commissioned as an Army officer once I graduate. My family's a military family. I was born in Germany. My dad's a retired colonel. So the military is just part of our DNA. Both of my brothers are officers, so it's just part of who we are. And the RCC story was I was on my official visit, and my dad was like, let's go check out this RCC program. I know a guy over there. I'm like, okay, cool. Next thing I know, I'm taking the PT test, and I get a scholarship for RCC. Had no idea. And I hated the military because my dad was deployed all through my childhood. A military kid, man. So my buddy, Adrian Cole, gets cut and calls me, and he says, hey, man, tell me more about the military. Because he's got 2 kids. He just got, his dreams just got destroyed with the NFL. And he's like, I got to figure this shit out. That was a huge eye-opening thing for me. And I'm like, all right, what do I want? What do I want to pursue? And from there, I kind of pivoted into the military. And I had this big chip on my shoulder. I'm like, if I just gave this up, if I just gave up football, the thing I loved my entire life, I'm going to do this shit with Zidell. I'm going to be in the best environment I can. And for me, that was Army Special Operations. So I commissioned as an officer. I start my military career, immediately go to Ranger School. And then after that, I go through all the selection stuff to get accepted to and serve with the 75th Ranger Regiment. I'm down in Fort Benning, down at 3rd Ranger Battalion. In 2019, we're on a deployment. I'm on a mountain in Southeast Afghanistan. I'm a platoon leader. Me and my guys are out on this hill. I look out into this open field. I can see the Alps on the other side of this open plain. I'm just a kid from South Louisiana. How the hell did I get here? In that moment, I just thought about what all my friends are doing back home. We had a 6-month deployment. I took time to call as many friends as I could in my downtime. The hours met up perfectly with stateside when we were up. Across 3 conversations, I had friends mention just being on the grind. One friend's in the NFL fighting to make the team again, and he's already proven himself, and he's just grinding to make the roster. Another friend's a barber, and he's trying to open up his own shop, and he doesn't know how to own a business. I'm just grinding to figure this out. Another friend finishing law school, about to take the bar, grinding to change his family's educational status for the first time in his lineage. Everybody on this earth has this mission. They have this connection to the grind. We all feel it when an alarm goes off. We all feel it when we have to pivot to a new task and we're prepping for the next day because we know the grind continues. I'm still on active duty, wasn't on social media, had a top secret clearance, so I'm just not touching it. Very mission focused with the team I'm on. Years go by, 2022, I leave the military and I go right into my doctorate. This big loss and gap of purpose and team and camaraderie. What happened? My life changed in a day. One day I'm around guys like you, type A personalities, hard chargers, go-getters, the best individual from every place in the country I serve with on a daily basis. And the next day, excuse my French, but I'm with a bunch of pansies in the Northwest. Like it's cloudy, it's gloomy, there's no culture, there's no drive, and I'm losing my mind. I'm used to chaos, I'm used to intent, I'm used to just focus. So I kind of suffered through a depression late 2022. I'm just losing it. What am I doing? What's my purpose? I'm getting a doctorate. For most people, that's enough. And it made it hard to connect with peers because they're like, this is my life. This is what I've always wanted to do. I needed risk and something burning to pursue. So I'm training in my garage gym every night, reflecting on my race board, trying to figure out what the hell am I doing? And I write the words grind out on my erase board, and I spelled it the colloquial way with the I in it. I'm like, that's just a word, didn't really hit, but then I erased the I, and then I was like, oh shit, it hit me again. That same feeling I had in 2019, that we're all on the grind. And 9 times out of 10, if you're the type of individual that we want in our community, you're likely not grinding for yourself. You're doing it for your country. You're on the grind for your community, your family, your people, your team. the people that are in your life, you're grinding to make the world a better place. And from there, I was like, this is it. I'm all in. I'm finishing my doctorate because that fuels into how I provide value. But this is it. I took $2,000. I'm just a student now, have no income. I get about 100 shirts made, custom. Thank God I had disability and stuff coming out the military. I had some injuries that kind of set me up for success long term, but I'm bootstrapping and I write personal letters to 100 of my friends. And I say, hey, Tom, hey, Josh, hey, Mike, you've known me for a long time. You know who I am, my values, my beliefs. You know how hard and focused and driven I am. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to pursue. And I would ask that you think about what the grind means to you. What is your purpose? What drives you every day in pursuit of your life's mission? And from there, I've just been hard charged and try to build this community and find high quality individuals that align with our values and really just create a community where it's a shared understanding. Now, it's tough because we live in this mega marketing space where being niche is important and having a very clear target audience. And for me, when I look at grind, the 6.5 billion people on this earth can align with the mission or can align with that emotion of being on the grind. And I'm still figuring out how do we tweak this target niche. Because here's what I've learned. If you walk up to a guy after this call and said, hey, man, are you on the grind? There's no way I'm not working hard every fucking day, you know? Yeah. So I think over time, this thing is going to go from a broad niche thing to more of an emotion and a mindset that people can align with. Like it's a mindset, a collection of people that approach life in a very specific way. It's a yes or no. You're either doing it or you're not. And if you're not, it's almost an invitation to do that reflection and figure out what in your life, bring that emotion out of your journey that'll catalyze you to go further. So it's been fun, man.
You got me hyped, bro. You're already working on the hype speech.
Dude, I'm pumped about it every single day, man, because
you're onto something. You know your why.
Dude, I mean, I hear these stories, man. I was in Houston last year, the Lee Labrada Classics, a bodybuilder competition, and I had a buddy competing, so we sponsored the event and get into a hotel at midnight. My athletes go down for bed. I'm walking in my room, and this old white gentleman is trying to get through the side door. I run down and let him in. We're chatting GRND, and I tell him the story, and I ask him what the grind means to him. He goes off 45 minutes on how his family immigrated from Slovakia and moved to the States with no money to their name. His dad started this electrician company in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and he's taken a company now and has grown it due to social media and providing his life for his 2 little girls. He's just like, dude, the grind. No one's ever asked me why I do all this shit. No one. No one's asked
his story.
Yeah, I'm like about to go to bed, but this story was so powerful because how often do we just grind through the day without really refining why we're doing it? There's so much power in that, man. I'm allowing that to lead me and drive me through the journey. But at the same time, I've got to find those individuals. I've got to build a community. I've got to learn business. I've got to figure out how to build an ecosystem. So that's what I'm working through right now.
It aligns what I'm doing in this space too. Same timeline and everything. 22, 23. I call them my midlife crisis times. What am I doing? What's my purpose? I spent a year and a half with no intent. I just want to have my mind available to try to understand what is my purpose and what is my grind. I was going through the daily grind, but I was still in it. Me just working on muscle memory, coming through thought and brainstorming things, finally decided on a business model and figuring out what my core values are and linking up, and started this Instagram thing a year and a half ago. July of 23 was when I started posting. It's led me to link into people like you. The algorithm's on point. You'll put stuff out there and you'll reach people that match what you got going on. One thing, I didn't want to cut you off when you were saying it earlier when we were talking about niching down. The riches are in the niches, right? I tried doing that too because I'm in the fitness space. So they want you to be very clear. I coach 40-year-old women who are dealing with menopause. Like, they want you to really niche down. That's been helpful. But I came across a mentor in one of these training classes. One of the most profound things for me. And it's been really helpful. And hopefully this might help you too. To not focus on the demographics, but to focus on the psychographics. Your motto straight up, when you talk to a guy that's on the grind, those psychographics are going to register with everybody. The brand story and all that stuff you're talking about, it will register with a Slovakian that's providing for his family. It'll register with an officer. We all have those innate feelings in us. It's not one demographic, it's a psychographic, and that's what's more powerful to people. I just, with my messaging and what I'm doing, we have a lot of the same, talking about that target avatar, the same psychographics that we're after. Most of the people that are going to enter your brand or services, they're going to have a strong sense of duty. Police officers, military, nurses, doctors, and then family. And so that's how it ties in with me culturally. In our culture, we still have a traditional cultural system, the way we run our families, like a chiefly system, a village system where there's still titles and respect. That's missing today in Western world. We want traditional women, but they're not traditional. And we want a traditional man. We also confuse them on their exact roles and duties in life. You have this hard line. You're one side or the other. I try to focus on those psychographics where if you have a strong sense of duty, then you probably align with me. My last name is Tautua, which is a big family name back home in the islands. I don't want to name something after me. During that 18 months of me just drifting around, that's how we came across. In the Samoan language means to serve. It's the literal word for serve. It's not like getting service on something with your house. It's literally the act of serving God or serving your community. People will title you with that. Oh, that man's Tautua to his family because he takes care of his family. He grinds for his family.
Yeah.
The word's very powerful just within the culture. I mostly coach non-Polynesian people who embody craving to be part of these social norms, these psychographics that they register with. Your messaging is really powerful.
Dude, that's great, man. And the psychographics, I've definitely thought through those, and it's pulled me in different directions. Like, oh, I'm Black. I'm a Black-owned business. Oh, I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran-owned business. And I'm trying to figure out how to mesh those things. I've kind of pulled away from them and focused more on those intangible qualities that people can align with. From my experience, I've been on teams with people of different minority groups or races. I've been a ranger in special operations with people of all different walks of life. I mostly want to align it with that inherent mindset and not try to paint this picture of what our avatar needs to be. It's more aligned with an emotion than a color, look, race, or demographic. And it's definitely paid off a lot. I just want to connect with you, man, because when I saw your profile, he gets it immediately. I didn't have to question it. I was like, we need to chat because in this space, I found myself interacting with people that didn't get it. I ran into some crappy people. It's hard for me because I've come from a community where that's just not the case, especially when coming from a space where revenue and money wasn't the focus. We had a clear mission. There was no monetary value attached to it. So now I have to maneuver that layer of complexity to find the real. Like people want free stuff. They want to get paid thousands of dollars for impressions. And I'm still learning that complexity. It's interesting how varying it is depending on who you talk to. There's no clear-cut code on what looks right. So I'm using my mission and values to provide a lens of discernment when I interact with people. It's like you either fit this thing, you align with the mission and values. A girl reaches out. She seems like she aligns. We're going to work together. Then I get on her page one night and she's got an OnlyFans or this obscure life that does not align with how I view the world. Having those clear-cut standards has allowed me to find the right people. As I learn and grow in just the brand, business, social space, I'll figure out how to best take care of those people and provide value to them as they do to me. It's complex, but it's fun, dude. Especially in conversations like this.
It is complex, but I get it. I love being able to have a conversation with someone. When you have somebody that's not very purpose driven, it's hard to have that type of conversation because you're talking over their head. Instead of growing a brand and a business, you sit there and I could probably guess that you are mulling this information in your head 24/7.
Yeah.
Because it's your grind. It's like, this is your purpose.
Dude, I have to forcibly shut my brain off. It's challenging at times. I interact with people. I met a guy out in Seattle. He had like 450,000 followers. I'm like, oh, that's cool. He wanted to work together. He liked the brand. I found out that he binge drinks every night and smokes weed, and he's in the club with all these celebrities living this fast lifestyle that I cannot resonate with at all. And I have friends in the NFL, but I can't hang out with them. I'm just not a part of that. I'm very traditional with how I operate on a daily basis. If you're not really aligned with our mission and values, I just can't do it. I don't care how many followers you have. I've got 13 ambassadors on the team, and we've got folks that have 2,000 followers because they're really great people. And we have people that have 100,000 followers because they're also really great fucking people.
My whole goal from the jump, it's never about followers. I don't want all the followers. I want the right followers. I want the right people. From all the coaching and stuff that I got on the business side, that's a good thing. And now my messaging and branding, I don't put anything out there I can't stand behind. I watch my follower count, and as long as it matches my purpose and messaging, I'll put it out there. I hold myself to a standard, so I hold the people around me to that same standard. I hold myself to that standard. I don't hang out with OnlyFans girls. I don't drink. I'm going home with my family tonight. That's cool. That's your thing. It's a no judge space. I align with that 100%. I think that's very commendable.
Brands kind of lose their way. So many aspects as they're growing and they're trying to create reach. One of the things that's inspired me along my journey is that I was still in the military when I noticed this. All these big brands, half of them aren't even US based, like Lulu's in Canada and Gymshark and Represent 247 in UK, LSKDs in Australia. They can dominate US markets because of their reach and their valuation, but they intentionally buy athletes, people of color, to target that demographic. And I'm just like, we're all of color. Where are those founders at? Where are those brands at? I have a friend who was with Gymshark, black girl, super fit, awesome individual. They brought in 15 to 20 different black athletes and influencers, did a collection with them, and then cut all of them. 2 years later, Alpha Elite did the same thing. I get it from a business perspective. You want to grow your demographic and audience, but I think it gave me this inspiration that there needs to be more Black founders, people of color founders in the health and wellness space. And there's room for it too.
So many of them are profit driven. I've even had people hop on some of these meetings, the guys that'll get you, especially from an entrepreneurial space. I mean, that sounds good. We'll get down to the meat potatoes to find out about their company or their approach, and it's profit driven. That's not my thing. The service is what's more important to me. That's where we all get that warm feeling when you're doing something right. This ain't about the money. The money will come if you're doing the right thing. I agree with that 100%. It's rare to find, especially in the business space. This is business, but it's not how I run my business.
It's challenging because I feel like the industry or society pulls you into that direction in order to grow and scale. Even now, we just got done with 3 weeks of production and great stuff. Had a bunch of great athletes be a part of it. And none of them asked me for a dime. I couldn't because I'm a new brand and I'm bootstrapping. There's a brand I'll share with you, Softly, great human performance company. They're going to link me with one of the founders from Black Rifle Coffee, Evan Hafer.
I love Black Rifle.
Yeah, I drank Black Rifle on every deployment the entire time I was in SOF. Something they told me was Brent and Evan, the message they gave me was be careful. Use as much discernment, struggle as long as possible before you start bringing this external funding in because they don't give a damn about you. They're going to see that you're a veteran, that you were a ranger, so you served in special operations, you're an athlete, and you're Black, and you're educated, and see a money sign. And they're going to use the money they can provide your business to leverage you and to make a decision that you don't want to make. But you think you need it because you're passionate. You are leading with passion. You know that money's going to help your dreams come true. If you can delay that until you absolutely need it, then you'll have leverage to work with people if you want to. And it's scary. You know, it happens in Wall Street. It happens in politics. You see it in healthcare. Every industry has this level of corruption. For me, it's all about finding people of character, people who align with our values, and then figuring out what that looks like long term. And that's why I reached out to you because I was like, dude, he's the guy. I want to chat with him. I don't know, from the branding perspective, man, it's new. I can lead with passion and connect with people who resonate with me in this way of life. And then we figure it out together. I don't need this big criteria list. Let's chat about it, figure out what makes the most sense, both from an operational standpoint and a financial standpoint, and solve a problem and make an impact. And that's what I've shared with the athletes that are part of the brand now. That's what I think I'm going to lean on moving forward. And then when we scale, that financial aspect becomes that much easier to make decisions on.
That's a great approach. I feel like I'm nobody. You register with my military people, we register with Samoans and Polynesians, and that's kind of the little space that I'm in right now. I get a lot of these brands reaching out, do shout outs. I gotta stand on this stuff. So whatever ideas you have in mind as far as collaboration and working, I actually love your purpose and it lines up with what I do. So my heart's open, man. I know when things feel right and it does. So I'm open to suggestions and see your thoughts, especially long term.
Yeah.
The fire department, I'm getting to a point now where I need to decide one or the other. And if I have more impact doing this, if I could change more hearts and minds with this, it ain't about the money. It's about serving my purpose. And some people pass away recently. I'm more strategic about who and why I spend my time on certain
Right.
things. This definitely aligns with that.
I definitely get it, man. And I think that's a good place to be in. You have this thing that you're passionate about, but then when you have something pulling you in a different direction that's even more driven by passion, you're going to make the right decision. I think it comes down to what decision is going to fulfill you the most, which is kind of scary, but also pretty exciting as well.
If I'm not scared,
it's too quiet.
I grew up in chaos. And as a dad, too, that's a telltale sign. When it's quiet, I'm like, oh, shit,
what's going on?
What's going on?
Something is seriously wrong and it's quiet, man.
I'm used to that.
From my lens, from a collaboration standpoint, what I would like to do is send you a package and we're getting ready to filter a list of folks that I'm meeting with. I'd like to add you to that list and chat with her about it. I want to figure out a way to create a platform for you to share your story, whether that's on a call like this, whether that's you coming down to Dallas and we get a workout in together and sit down.
Fly out of town just to do workouts.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's what I want to do. I don't want to do all these crazy ambassador trips or all this crazy stuff. Let's go to the gym for a weekend and spend 3 hours a day training and share some suffering and reflections from that experience. I'm all about that. But I like to find a way between the collab piece and the meet piece and figure out a way for you to share through our channels. What does the grind mean to you? Why did you remove the I? What is your life's passion and purpose? And I think with that, it'll resonate with both my audience and your audience because I think the psychographics align really closely.
And that's a common message I put out in some of my content with my coaching. I work with people that are focused on the we. Those are the people who serve others. They give selflessly to the point where they forget to give back to themselves by being better, stronger, and more foundationally rooted in something meaningful to them. That's how they're serving everybody better. That's showing up to duty, ready. That's moms showing up to serve their kids. They're guilty because they've always given. They've never put themselves first. It sounds counterintuitive, but by removing the I, that's how you can really do it. It's not about you. Your priorities actually become very clear when you're thinking from a selfless viewpoint. Paradigm completely shifts, and that's been the thing with me. AANHPI month is coming up in May. That's a busy cultural month for me. I'm going to do some fitness stuff out there with the family. I got family that runs a cultural show there. There's like a competition there.
Okay.
Tied in with the college and meeting with police, fire, and military. I was just there in February to meet with, spent a day with the federal fire department guys, which I'm doing some mental health stuff and health and wellness initiatives with them. Was recognized by the city of Honolulu for doing stuff. And so I was able to tie city connections with first responders and military and my culture there. Going back to revisit them again in May. I'm starting to do a lot more with them. I just graduated a program, a mental health program for veterans called Shield Bearers Group, finished a 12-week program and had a graduation from that last night. It's something that I'm in all the time. I don't have two faces. It's literally, I love that, man. I'm open for it. You definitely got my attention. I want to see how it could have more impact on more people.
From a philanthropic standpoint, I have the veteran side of the house, which I'm a member of about 4 different nonprofit, like special operation organizations. One of those were from a buddy of mine, Karnabit Narzik, who was killed. He was my roommate when I was a Ranger. And he was the one that I notified his family. I actually lived with his family for an entire month through that entire process. And now I'm a board member of the nonprofit. It's called the Five Foundation. We actually just had a Ranger who was killed this past week. He was killed in a motorcycle accident down in Brownsville, Texas. From a Tuesday night phone call that one of the board members called me and told me about what happened, I made 5 phone calls. We got a GoFundMe established. And in 24, 48 hours, we had raised almost $50,000. to help his family throughout the process.
That's
And
amazing, man.
it's never enough, but at the same time, the community is there. If we can bring people together during times like this, support somebody who needs it, then that's a mission success in my eyes.
Means so much. What you're doing is phenomenal. I see that from both sides.
It's
Such a
tough.
tremendous thing.
It's really tough, man. The other side of that is being a physical therapist, being a former athlete. I think about my practice as a service. Yes, I can go build my own private practice and work through all the insurance and figure out I can make some money off of it. But what I want to do is I want Grind to be that brick and mortar location. Yes, I want a global brand. Yes, I want to be all over the place, but I want that location that is in Texas. And when that kid from South Texas, who's a four-star athlete, just signed to Texas or TCU, but he just tore his labrum his senior year and doesn't know what to do. His mom doesn't have insurance. They're very low income, subsidized housing. He's going to come to me and get the care he needs. That veteran that's fighting for claim, the VA, to get insurance, that is just lost after transitioning, he's going to come to me. That's what I want. I don't need to make a dollar being a physical therapist, but if I can help people that actually need it and enrich their lives, improve their performance, dude, that's it. Let the brand make me an income. But for physical therapy, it's never been about creating income. The income's crap anyway. The healthcare system sucks. It sucks, man. I'm trying to communicate to my classmates who are much younger than I am. Hey guys, the real world sucks. Figure out what you want to do, because we just spent 3 years in a program that costs $150,000. Base salary is like 65, 70, and you've got student loans. It's a broken system, man. So for me, if I can leverage true passion and use my education to provide real value to the community in any way possible, dude, it could be free. I do not care. I'll build a practice in the facility and come in and get treated.
You're on to something.
Dude, I'm leaning forward, man.
Man, you know, it's so good when you just telling people about it and it gets them fired up. I'm like, man, I want to be one of those guys in a year or two. Like, man, remember when they was like nobody knew who they were? Yeah, I'm part of that brand. I don't care about Gymshark. And that's what I went through when I started mine. I got rid of all my Nike and all my stuff. These guys never gave to my people. That's the viewpoint I took. I'm only gonna wear stuff that I support, like my clients, businesses. They send me stuff. I only wear stuff that I truly support. Everybody wants that with the brand. They want brand recognition too, but when it's something powerful like that, you're gonna have huge buy-in.
Just being a part of something that has intention, and like, I know I can never replicate the experience I had as a ranger, but I can try. I can lean forward with the values. In our mission statement, 100% and then some comes directly from the Ranger Creed. There's little aspects and values that are pulled away from my time there that I think everyone should align with or could align with. If I can continue that mission forward, then it's a job well done.
I love that. I want to know what I can do.
I'm like, dude, just grind right now. The best way to show people that you're serious is to back yourself. And for me, that's what I just felt like I needed to do. I don't come from a family that, hey, son, here's $100,000. Chase your dream. No, I'm getting out the mud, and it resonates even more with the story. And I'm going to keep leaning into that.
Love that.
So, yeah, launch is May 17th. And what we're trying to do is find those individuals, find the right people. It's more about inviting people into this space more than anything else. It's about, yes, brand awareness is at the top of the funnel, but just below that is a filter that says, hey, you do this every day. How about you really start reflecting on your own journey and being a part of something that helps you go further, and just figuring out, finding the right person.
Hopefully I could find a way to fit into that and actually deliver.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I
think it's easy for us to do is we send you out a package, and it's more of a, hey, we know you align with this. Thank you for supporting us. And what you do after that is completely up to you. But beyond that, I would just like to find a way for you to share what the grind means to you, or challenge people in your space to ask themselves that tough question. What does the grind mean to you? What is your why? Why did you remove the I? And that just starts conversation. I think that's where transformation actually happens. I'm not an influencer that built a community and monetized a community. I'm a guy that got out the military and loves passion and purpose, and I'm building a community around that.
I love that, man. You're onto something. I'm telling you.
It's scary though, dude. It's scary the way we talked about it, but it's also scary because they paint this picture that the only way you can start a successful business or brand is if you've been an influencer or if you've built this huge community. And I'm like, I haven't. I was in the military. I watched social media blow up, and guys like Nick Bear, who we have very similar stories, except I went a little bit further in the military. We aligned in a lot of different ways, but I wasn't posting. I was serving my country. I didn't have time for it. I didn't care about it. I was driven by something else. So now it's like, oh, how do I build a community? Well, I think I do what comes natural, and it's having the conversations and building community around this idea, not waiting until one of my shirtless pics gets 1 million views and then selling them something.
Well, and people blow up on social media and then try to figure out who they are. When people dig a little bit deeper and there's no substance to them. So you did the hard part. A lot of these influencers can't do. You built this decades of goodwill. And you can't take that from me because I didn't do
Right.
this social media thing to be a social media guy. This is just who I am. I've done all these things I talked about, which is why I'm able to
Right.
talk about them. And same thing with your purpose. There's so many people out there that will just do the trend or whatever to get the views and the follows, and they try to monetize and sell them something. I'm not selling anything. I'm here to make impact. There's things you can buy. That's the business part of it. I want you to buy that because you had that transformation. That's something I
Right.
tell my people because I work on getting people to do their transformations. But the transformation happens up here first. That after
Exactly.
pick, that's months after you had the transformation.
Right.
Once you remove that I, this is just a byproduct. The
Exactly.
real transformation happens when you remove that I and you start grinding. You stop making
Yeah.
excuses. You start doing shit.
And that's what has inspired me so much is because people resonate with that. And
Yes.
I had the opportunity, like, yeah, I'm fit. If I took my shirt off and it was all over social media, sure, I'll pick up a couple followers, but I just don't like it. I don't feel like I'm moving with purpose. I don't even like seeing that content. And it's everywhere. The girls showing off the cheeks, the guys flexing on camera. And I'm just like, where's the work? That's what I care about. I care about the work. I care about the journey. You look like you made it to the destination, but I don't see any value there. I am always working to stay grounded in that because I know how people can slip up in this space and really go down the wrong road. So,
I think that shows you a lot of character. Everything's purposefully done. Instagram's the main platform that I'm doing stuff on. It's the one that I concentrate and put all the effort into. I can't complain about the rules of the game. I know that at its surface, Instagram's a very shallow and superficial algorithm driven thing. I'll do things like that. Shirtless pics. So I'll get my buddies that'll do that. They'll comment
yeah,
like, "Hey, stop putting pictures of yourself. Did you read the message? Follow the messaging. I got you to look, but that's the thing. You're getting reach, and then you
right.
get people to come on, and then that's where you're nurturing. People will get two questions into it and find out right away that I'm not that social media guy.
Not the clickbait guy, you're sharing value.
That's the goal. So if a shirt got your attention, got you commenting, then well, that was what it was designed to do to get you to maybe stumble across some of my educational content or find out more about my purpose. So it should make you question yours. When you learn those marketing angles, especially Instagram, I know it's entertaining. They want to be entertained within the first couple seconds.
Yeah,
That's for reach, but hopefully they're on the platform. We're nurturing them the right way. I-
I like that approach though. As long as there's a mission and intent behind it, you can always lead with a good hand. I mean, I'm a physical therapist. I've got 10 years of training and coaching experience. And I see guys that are just ripped that have millions of followers. There's nothing there. I don't see the value. On my personal page, I might have 2,000 followers. I post a journey and a story. I might share some training stuff, but the focus is never on my body, like flexing my biceps. But if I
Hey,
go to explore, I see a bunch of lat spreads.
I'm just looking at it as clues. I'll do some of those things with intent because I know what
Right.
that's the platform. But you're right. I don't want a million followers. I'll take 10 of the right ones. So
Exactly.
it's not a numbers game, but it'll reach the right people.
I had a friend of mine that has 4,000 followers, and she did a story last year about what the means to her. We got like 80 sales off one post she made because
I know
people follow her.
people I know people with 3,000 followers that are killing it in the revenue space, 5K followers, and they're making three times that a month. And that's great if you're looking for impact and serving the right people. You're dialed in. Vanity metrics mean nothing to me. It's good from a marketing standpoint, I guess, but I got a lot of genuine connections from that. That's what's important. I met some people that changed my life. I'm changing their lives. That's what's important.
That's what it's all about, man. Something that, are you familiar with the brand Bull?
I've heard of.
It's a functional fitness brand. They started in CrossFit several years ago. The two founders left Reebok, took double mortgages out on their homes, and built Noble to what it is today. I met one of the founders, Mike Schaefer, at a special operations conference in Tampa, and we became friends since then. And he's kind of been a mentor for me throughout this process. And I've watched Noble be the small brand that was niche to CrossFit to being a brand worth 500 million, and they just signed an agreement with TB12. So Tom Brady's a major stakeholder in their company now. Great stuff. Something that he shared with me was it's easy to operate and picture the brand as this billion-dollar brand, as this 8-figure brand. All you need is a handful of people who believe and live the values that you're putting out. It'll grow from there. Don't think too much into the destination, but it's the journey of building, connecting with the right people that's really going to take you a long way. So I've been focusing on that. It makes it more fun. It makes it more meaningful when that's the goal. Yes, I want an 8-figure brand. Yes, I want to have that big global social impact. Yes, absolutely. But along that journey, I want to change lives throughout the process. If I can continue to lean with that, then I know I'm doing the right thing.
I know people probably pay to go to a masterclass just to learn that. That's priceless right there.
I'm trying to lean into it. Coming from my background in special operations, you've got Delta, SEAL Team 6, Green Berets, Rangers, SEALs, Marine Raiders, PJs are in there. When you split it down the middle, you've got Delta Force, Rangers, Green Berets, and you got Navy SEALs. Navy SEALs write the books, they do the podcast, movies, all the glamour stuff, the Hollywood shit. They transition and boom, they blow up. Rangers and Delta guys are just consummate professionals. They call them the silent professional. We don't tell our story. We're not big on sharing our experiences. I did a podcast in August. I'll have to send it to you. A guy down in San Diego. It's called the Transition Drill. It was my first opportunity to really talk about some of those experiences. This was kind of awkward. And 15 young Black kids hit me up. One guy was at the Citadel. One guy was getting ready to graduate at West Point. One guy was an E5. I had an E7. I had a young lieutenant all reach out to me. They're like, dude, I just ran across this podcast and resonate with everything you said. I'm trying to figure it out. Help me. And I had 1 to 2 hour conversations with all these guys and told them everything about my life, the pains, the experiences, training for selection, passing selection, how to be a great leader. Oh shit, I might need to start telling my story more.
You might need to record that on a podcast so you don't have to give that speech a million times. Like, hey, watch this podcast. You definitely have a powerful message.
For me, we all look at ourselves as like, we kind of shrink ourselves internally. I tell people everybody around me was better than me. I was the worst. I was the slowest. If I wasn't the slow, there's somebody way stronger than me. I was always around somebody that was better, smarter, stronger, more fit, more intelligent, can shoot better, everything. But I have a story, and there's power in that. It's the imposter syndrome thing. I haven't done enough. I'm a physical therapist, but have I done enough to share rehab advice and provide value that way? I was a Ranger. Can I help people who want to become Rangers? I was a college athlete. Can I help people get to the D1 level and beyond? I don't know. I don't feel like I did it enough. I got to go do more just to prove to myself that I can do it. As you have this external growth and transformation, there's a lot of internal that I'm experiencing as well. So much, man. So much. And it feels really good to prove myself right and build that internal confidence, because outwardly I look very confident. Oh man, that dude Jad, he's got dreads and tattoos. Like, damn, I know he's doing his thing. But inside, what's my name? You know, who am I?
What am I doing? Comparison is the thief of joy, brother. That's something I gotta constantly check myself. It's either the iceberg effect or I'm just comparing myself. And that's something I wish I would have learned early on. Someone's always gonna be smarter, bigger, stronger, faster. Yeah, I gotta be all right with. Am I good with what I got? So I could stand next to the rock and then really feel shitty about myself, but I didn't go through his experiences. That's the thing with social media too, is I try to be real upfront with people, especially when I share transformation pics or something that's looking real boastful. It's like, don't compare. Like that's gonna steal your joy all day long. You know, that imposter syndrome you're talking about is real. It hits. But
Yeah.
you've got something phenomenal there. And if that's any word of advice,
Yeah.
you're on the right path.
It means
Tell
a
them
lot.
nothing.
Well, for me, it means a lot because as you're going through the day to day, you don't feel it. You're just like, you're burning. What am I doing next? My business partner walked out a month ago. I had to find $30,000. I'm like, I don't come from generational wealth. I don't have friends on Wall Street that can hook me up. I don't come from that family. I had to sell stocks to get through the production timeline and have the budget for advertising. Those are things that I'm learning every day. And I think the confidence is building over time. But things you say, like you're onto something, when I hear that, it's like, maybe I am. Maybe I have to keep proving myself right every day by taking action and not being afraid of failure. I know that stops a lot of people. And I've been working to make sure it doesn't stop me.
Hey, you got to be the delusional one. Nobody sees your vision. And so you're going to look crazy till you do the shit you said. You're obviously still doing it. And then you don't look so crazy.
Right.
Then you
Dude,
look more like a genius.
I'm from a town called DeRidder, Louisiana. Very low education. When I started this journey, people were hitting me up like, man, what are you doing? Like, you're on social media. But now they're coming back around and they see it. It's like,
that's not cringe anymore.
I had some chubby years when I was younger and I got bullied. Like, black kid from the South, they were talking shit. So I got fit. I got healthy at a very young age. I feel like I've been fit for like 15 years straight now. I've been on my shit. I was meal prepping before meal prepping was a thing. And I transformed my life from a mindset perspective. That's propelled me in this direction. I had those bullies hit me up. We were teammates. He was a huge bully. His name was Mike Allen. Talking shit. I just remember calling me fat ass and all this stuff when I was a kid. And I was like, I'm going to fuck you up one day. Like, I'm going to beat your ass.
I've been waiting 20 years to do this
Exactly. He hit me up a couple months ago like, hey, man, what are you doing? You got a training program and stuff like that. And I helped him out. I remember what you said to me when I was a kid, but that doesn't matter. That was more a reflection of you than it was of me.
Now you may not have had that driving factor.
Exactly.
Thankful for them bullies. Thankful for the people that been talking the most. That's stuff that I internalize. Not in a negative way. It's like, all right, I got something. That's what fuels me.
Exactly. Dude, this has been great. I truly appreciate your time. It means a lot to me. Behind this brand, there's people who can connect with another person and figure out what that looks like. So I think we can just continue to chat, figure it out. You got a friend in me always, the brand as well. Anything that I can do for you, from having a conversation like this, shoot me a text, whatever it is, training advice, training conversations. I like to stay in a loop with everything you have going on. And then we can just figure out the collab piece. We're not a big brand.
I'm not a big brand guy. I don't reach out to Nike and all that. I believe more in the vision and how much impact currently and potentially where that's going. And that's right where you're at. But I think more importantly, I need to set a time when I'm going to come down to Dallas here soon. I love having a reason to travel. I ain't got no trips planned in April yet. All right, come down there to Dallas.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Like that to me alone would be worth it.
We could throw some ideas around. I'm thinking maybe we find the right weekend. I tie in with my production guys. We work out, film the workout, capture sound bits of the conversation and use that on social. If we're at the gym, we sit down and it doesn't have to be this strict interview.
Yeah.
A conversation.
That's what people want to hear.
They want this right here. Like, this is a podcast episode. This is a conversation that people can relate to and resonate with. I think that's where our message lies. So we can replicate that in any form of fashion, then we should do it.
I'm down. So let me know what info you need.
Yeah.
Got my number. Consider me a friend so we could text and whatever. Yeah. I like keeping that type of people around me. My circle is real small. So
absolutely.
Let's do that. Let's see what we can do.
I've got your number and your email address. I'll create a Google Doc. We can brainstorm some stuff, find a date, tie in with the production folks, and we'll knock it out.
Let's do it. I'm game.
Hey, come on down.
Got my shit ready, bro.
Grab the boots out of my truck. I'm ready, man. We'll have some fun.
I'll send you notes from this call and stuff.
Okay.
I'm in. Let's do it. I know it's going to be the right one. If there's a will, there's a way. Let's do it.
I appreciate it, and I'll be in touch real soon.
All right, Harrison. Appreciate you.
Take care, man.
Hey, listen, if that episode hit you the way it hit me, then you already know. Harrison's not just building a brand, he's building a movement. And Real Talk, Grind, and Tautua speak the same language: longevity, discipline, and showing up when nobody's watching. If you want to support what he's doing, follow him on Instagram. It's Grind, that's GRND. psychographics.us. Grab some gear and tap in. We're going to keep having these conversations because our people, they need it. Much love and aloha for rocking with us. If this episode helped you, share it with a brother who's on the grind too. And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's next. You're not going to want to miss this. This is Coach Kia, Tautua Talk, signing off.